Remember, they're changing my voice, and I have 22 witnesses that prove that I'm being persecuted for my important messages and my true identity. In regards to the UVA shooting, you know, University of Virginia shooting suspect, in regards to the Uvalde incident, okay, this person, also this person beaten to death in Queens, okay, and how there's mental health discussions taking place. First of all, when they talk about a mental disorder, it's right there in the word disorder why they're wrong. The governing class in every nation, really, but especially here in America, has a long history of being a disorder-based society. Not an order-based society, a disorder-based society. Chaos and desolation and abomination. Okay? So what is the problem here is that when you have people who are fucked in the head, psychopaths, narcissists, lunatics, and they're ruling over you, you don't have a point in life. It's pointless to accept that order. Okay, so if Lex Luthor's in charge, right? Prince Humperdinck, you know what I'm saying? The Red Skull, Penguin, Joker, Two-Face, Jigsaw, you know what I mean? The Kingpin, these lunatics, right? These people were like comic book villains. Okay, you're gonna be fucked in the head. Okay, dating is off. There's drugs everywhere. Okay, who knows what they're putting in the food and the air? They're always getting caught with, water, like Flint water crisis, water issues and air issues in Chicago. I mean, on and on and on. In Mississippi, on and on and on. All kinds of problems as a result of this very selfish, very depraved and decadent society that comes from the core of it, right? What is the core? Like we would say in a certain type of martial arts, we would say that what is the king, heart, hut, essence, center, and core of that spirit, of that culture, of that people, of that group energy, of that movement, of their principles, of their characteristics? What is the dominating, what is the prevailing characteristic of that society, and how does it affect your mentality? Government. Ment meaning mind, like in the word mental, and mentality. Govern mentality, government. Pretty straightforward, right? I urge you to write this stuff down. If you don't agree with me, please make your case. A gentleman-like discussion will be applied generously. But I've done a lot of research, and it's basically impossible to beat me at a debate on this topic. I urge you to think these things through. Why are they killing us with their misdirection? By misguiding society. By misleading society. By missing the point of life. By making a mistake. It goes back to the phallic symbol and sexual control. There's tons of people whose job it is to prevent me from getting out my message about sexual control, right? Why is it actually a rape society? Because it's rape by deception, subtle coercion, misdirection, psychology-based trickery, deception, right? The devil is the great deceiver, so to speak, right? Deception. They're deceived into sleeping with someone they otherwise wouldn't. They may as well be drunk or roofied, Mickeyed, right? Date rape drugs. Why did this shooting happen? Because the person was led by scum, and there's all kinds of shooters all the time. This wasn't an isolated incident in Uvalde. And the guy who got beat to death in Queens the other day, he got hit in the head with a board. Rather unfortunate, rather disheartening, rather saddening. That wasn't the first time in American history. Why does this keep happening? Is it the genetics of poor white people, the genetics of colored people from certain areas? No. Magically, they're from Oakland and they're violent. Magically, if they're from Bel Air or something, they're fucking not violent? You think that's genetics? You think every token minority, for lack of a better word, magically found their way to a token place, because their genetics are better? That's retarded. America's more like a Nazi society than a utopia. So therefore, we must look at it in terms of governance and the patterns of behavior in the social, political situation, the socio-economic situation, sociology, right? Social life, social interactions, social engineering, and finances, economics, background stressors, peer pressure, The things that determine human behavior. What is the determinant here? What is actually determining the behaviors that we see? Where is the philosophy of moral precision in our society? What culture is morally precise? You don't have a single morally precise culture. Not your churches, not your mosques, not your synagogues, not your Buddhist temples, nothing. And they all have to pass the government's test to be allowed. The government has to say, hey, we're going to let you do that here in our society because we want to control the thinking, the ethos, the climate, the political climate, the social climate of the various regions in society. And every respective region has extreme problems when it comes to their obvious and very disrespectful rejection of the idea of moral precision. Let me give you an example of the difference between moral precision and someone who argues they're moral enough. Someone who's moral enough might say, hey, they let their kid get molested 1 day a week, as long as every other day their kid is treated fairly. There's some semblance of a laughable idea of morality in that thinking, but it's not precise. The morally precise person says, even if my kid has to die because I reject him being molested, I'm going to reject that because that's precisely what you should do. That's the precise stance you should take. You find out exactly what you should do, and if it kills you and your family, to do it. The society that rejects that superimposes Islamic terrorism on the idea of that, is guilty as hell. Every drug addict in this society they owe. Every rape victim they owe. Everyone they do wrong according to exactly why they were done wrong. Who, what, when, where, how, why. They owe. They can't then turn around and say he's homeless because he's a bum. No, you misled him. You did not inspire him to be morally precise and have a work ethic and give him the education and the job opportunities that he needed. You didn't give him the culture that he needed. You weren't morally precise. So you rich people must pay up. With no viable counter-argument, they say confuse the situation. Left, right, middle, paradigm. Confuse it. Use, confuse, and abuse. Which creates the righteous man's short fuse. And then they say, you lose. Because now we're going to screen you out. But you have lost. You cheated every man, woman, and child in this country. You even cheated yourself out of selfishness and stupidity. So why did those kids die in Uvalde? First and foremost, because your governing class failed them. Why did that guy in Queens get beat to death? Your governing class failed him. Why did those kids in that college, event get killed? In UVA, shooting victims. Because you are organized traitors, calculating villains. You said if you structure society this way, certain people will be demonized and certain people won't. And you'll see the flow of money and women go to you. But what is that money worth? In a blood money society, nothing. Not to a sane person, only to a crazed narcissist. What is a fair weather bitch worth who dates toward the fucking core villains? A useless bitch. She's worth nothing. She's a gold ring in a pig's snout. Proverbs 11:22, a beautiful woman who rejects good sense is like a gold ring in a pig's snout. That's one of the translations. Amplified Bible. As a ring of gold in a swine's snout, so is a beautiful woman who is without discretion, without sense, that is. Her lack of character mocks her beauty. Then they mock me and try to say, yeah, right on, brother, preach on. It's called telling the truth. You immature obstructors of justice. Isn't it bad enough that you're cowards afraid to rally for a valid and logical war on poverty plan? But then you mock me and obstruct justice and prevent the cure from coming in. You're all guilty according to your deeds. You're guilty of not rallying to me to present the morally precise solution to the problem. So people are getting raped and killed, children getting molested, drugged, fumed, you name it, all the time. You know why very few people would not believe me about me being fumed and drugged? Because you do it all the time to everyone. You say, here's a crack pipe, here's a meth pipe, here's a hair, smoke some heroin or whatever they do. Take some pills, blues, fentanyl, whatever they do. You say, here. All the time, all day, every day, you bring it in by the truckloads. Bring it in as submarines. You collaborate with your global accomplices. You inhabitants of the earth are very guilty, and I urge you all to read Isaiah 34. Thank you.